we're gonna go over our 2020 Can-Am X3 Turbo RR XMR. And we're gonna be going over like durability of it, how it's treated us in the last 2 years. We're gonna be going over the accessories we've done, what's broken on it in 2 years, and how it's just been overall as a machine. We've got about 3,300 miles on this thing, and let me tell you, they have not been nice miles. I drive this thing like a frickin' race car everywhere we go, so every one of them miles has been hard miles. We were gonna make this video the other day, but some tragedy struck, and we almost lost our spare wheel down a ravine. And we had to go chasing it, and I'm sure we'll put that footage in here. I'm glad I noticed it.
No kidding. Your whole bar fell off of it. That's the whole like thing you welded on.
Yeah, I know.
So the trail's like way up over there.
Oh, I wish you would have had all that on camera. Let's get into it. What is an XMR?
I don't know. Tell me.
It's a Can-Am. It's this right here. It's the green one.
Care to elaborate?
The XMR is a mud model, and honestly, we don't really ever do mud. We tend to stick to the rocks and the desert trails. So the XMR comes with the lower doors, it comes with a snorkel kit, some ridiculous mud tires, and one thing I really hate that this comes with, because of the mud tires, is a 65-mile-an-hour speed limiter. Yeah, you might say 65 mile an hour is fast enough, and 95% of the time it is, until your buddy's passing you and you are on your speed limiter, but you have another 40 horsepower more than he does. Of course, we got to our speed limiter, we were way ahead of him, and here he comes. Hi! Had we had an XRC or an XRS, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, so
That's cheese.
the XMR does come with the factory winch. Now we are missing a skid plate. May or may not have been because somebody hit a fucking tree stump. That person may or may not have been me. That's why it's discolored, and that's why it's not on there. But we have a winch. The thing that the XMR doesn't come with, and it should, and honestly every single one of these should, is 4-point harnesses. The XRC and the XRS come with the 4-point harnesses. These do not. These come with like a regular shoulder belt, and that doesn't cut it on a machine like this. Speaking of the harnesses, let's go into what we've done to the machine since we got it. When we got it from the dealer, it already had an audio roof, it had the front windshield, it had the soft rear windshield, and it has had mirrors. Does not have mirrors anymore. They bounced off a few too many trees. Our first mods to it after we got it were, number one, wheels and tires, because we didn't want the big knobby, nasty mud tires. This is our second set of wheels and tires. We've got BFGs. Not a huge fan of them. They don't have a ton of traction on the rocks and stuff. But this isn't a review about BFGs. This is a review about the Can-Am. We talked about the harnesses. After wheels and tires and harnesses, we did rock sliders because we rock crawl this thing a lot. I know it's not an XRC, but that's pretty much all we do with this thing besides desert. These are the factory BRP, like Can-Am rock sliders. They really didn't hold up that well. You can see right here, it's pretty much touching, and it's not really straight anymore or even close to being straight. I pretty much turned a round tube into a flat piece of steel.
The other side's much worse.
Is it? Let's go look. Oh yeah, she's a lot worse. You can see right here, that should be about out here. And that should be about down here. And that should be round, 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 and you know, none of that's round. That's touching, that shouldn't be touching. So they didn't quite live up to the, you know, Rock Sliders name. After the Rock Sliders, we got the Linq box, which is a storage box. We got the smaller storage box because we still wanted to be able to see out the rear view mirror. This thing has been amazing. I mean, I got nothing bad to say about it, really. It seals up really well.
98% waterproof, I would say.
It's really quite good. It's been solid. After that, we did the Tusk storage rack, and we did end up modifying it eventually. We kept it factory for a while. We had to modify it due to the snorkels. You can see I added like 6 inches there, and I moved it back. And I actually had a spare tire mount, but on our way to record this video the other day, it may or may not have tried to divorce us and end up in a ravine. After we got all of our trail storage sorted out, we needed to be able to see at night because our friends are dumb and like to ride at night. But we got a light bar. This is a rough country 40-inch. Don't ever buy a rough country 40-inch light bar. They suck. Next on the list is our door bags. These are OEM door bags. Don't buy the OEM door bags. After like a week, these zippers like stopped working. They look nice. They do look a lot better than all the aftermarket ones, but it's pretty much just a door pocket now, and it's not like zippable really.
And they're not waterproof.
And they are not waterproof.
Not even a little bit.
They look like they might be, but they are not. After that, we got a mount for like an iPad, or like we just bought like a cheap Walmart tablet for like trail maps while we're riding. After we bought that, we got a pull plate. We probably would have just kept the factory one had we not kind of bent the other one to shit. I may or may not have tried to pull out 30,000 pounds out of the sand with it. Last but not least, we got a badass rugged radio setup. Cost us a pretty penny, but after we got stranded by ourselves in the middle of the Arizona desert.
So we accidentally got separated from Mike and Joe. We ended up taking a wrong turn and had to backtrack a little bit, which was not good for the gas. This is bad. This is really bad.
We decided we needed radios. So we got a rugged radio set up, and it's freaking awesome. Play music through your headset, cut out the wind noise. Although the dash kit did not fit very well, I had to like kind of bend some stuff and like, you know, make it fit a little bit. Love the rugged setup. And this thing is amazing. Like on desert trails, on the rocks, it does it all really well, honestly. The rock crawling capabilities is really good. You know, these tires aren't the greatest for rock crawling, but it does really well, especially with the smart lock. Smart lock works really good, except for I wish it wasn't smart. I wish it was just lock and unlock. Because sometimes if you're like playing around in the sand and you have it in 4-wheel drive without it locked, it'll error out. So smart lock, I just wish it wasn't smart. I wish it was just open or locked and at the control of your fingertips. It's really nice to just be able to go boop, locked. Kind of like how you should boop that like button. And then subscribe, boop that subscribe button. You know you want to. 72-inch versus 64-inch. We were going to get a 64-inch. We lived in Minnesota at the time where there's not really a whole lot of 72-inch trails. We couldn't find a 64-inch at the time. You could not find a Turbo RR in a 64-inch. So we ended up going with this 72-inch XMR Turbo RR. And I'm so freaking glad we got a 72-inch. It's so much more stable on the trails and like fast whoops and stuff. We've got a couple buddies with 64-inch models, and it's just night and day difference. It really is. So if you're in an area where you aren't worried about trails being too narrow, just get a 72-inch. It's that simple. I can't say enough about how durable this thing is. We beat the shit out of it. We drive the wheels off this thing, and then we get out and put them back on and keep going. So what have we broken in the 2 years and 3,300 miles that I have beat the shit out of this thing? Well, like a week after we bought it, I bent the radius rod. I fell off a cliff. I hit a rock on the way down. But there's more to that story. As you can see, we are still on stock radius rods. Everybody says you need radius rods. You don't need radius rods. You do not need aftermarket radius rods, in my opinion. And then I smashed the front bumper. I hit a stump and wrecked that plate that we had talked about earlier. We wrecked this plastic, bent the radiator, replaced the fan, all that shit. Overheated. It was like 20 miles home. We got pulled over on the way home because we were driving down the road. I broke a rear axle while I was jumping it. Then the pull plate that we broke earlier. As you can see, there's a theme here. It's all self-inflicted. Other than that, all we've done is change the oil and maintenance it. Oh, let's talk about the belt. No, you're lucky to get 1,000 miles out of a belt, especially if you drive a Razor. Wink, wink. This belt is... It's 3,500 miles on it. We've never changed it. I've opened the case 3 or 4 times to look at it to make sure everything's good on it. Like, I was gonna go in there and I'm just like, I'm gonna replace this anyways, and I open the case and it's like, it looks brand new. So I just don't. I just leave it. We always carry a spare belt. The only thing that has broken that might not be my fault is the front sway bar just randomly snapped the other day, which is probably still my fault because I drive it like a dumbass. Now I'm going to tell you about some of the things I hate about this machine. These stupid door handles. Put some real door handles on the thing. These suck. One of the other things is, like I said, that speed limiter. Damn it, CJ, I would have beat you. One thing about these things is from the factory, they're kind of loud to ride in. One thing you can do to really help, which we didn't have that issue because of the snorkels, but the factory like induction for the belt is like right here behind your head. So that's kind of loud, but they make a noise relocation kit. So that's like a necessity. And then another thing that rattles around like crazy is one of the exhaust shields goes like right here where my hand is. It rattles like crazy too. So the way around that is take it off and heat wrap your exhaust. It's that easy. The other thing about the XMR is I wish it had thicker skid plates and more armor on some things. The XRC comes with a lot better armor and skid plates underneath. They're a lot thicker. It's the same material, they're just thicker. And other than that, I love this thing. It is amazing. That's our 2020 Can-Am X3 XMR Turbo RR, and we love it. If you like this video, check out our video where we go from St. George, Utah to the Grand Canyon in Arizona in one day. It was one hell of a trip. Bye!